On the evening of August 1st, 1989, Ronald Ronnie Jack was approached by an unknown man at a local bar called the First Leader in Prince George, British Columbia. The man allegedly offered Ron a lucrative logging job in a remote logging camp near Chukwu's Lake, 40 kilometers west of Prince George, along the British Columbia Highway. The stranger stated that while there was work available for Ron, there was also work for his wife, Doreen. She could be a cook at the camp, on top of schooling and daycare that would be provided for their children. Ronnie jumped at the opportunity, and the man promised to arrive at Ronnie's home with transportation early the next morning. Ronnie then left the bar around 11:16 p.m. and returned home. 2 hours later, in the very early morning hours, Ronnie called his brother to find out if he could look after the kids while he was working, but his brother advised him he was not able to do so. Ronnie then called his mother, telling her about the job opportunity and that they would be leaving in the morning. He mentioned they'd be gone for about 10 days to 2 weeks, but he did not provide specific details about the job's location or the identity of the man who hired him. Chillingly, Ronnie ended the call with his mother by telling her to come looking for him if he did not return. The Jack family did not own a vehicle that they could drive up to the remote logging site with, so the stranger returned early the next morning with a pickup truck as promised. The truck itself is only described as a 4-wheel drive, dark-colored vehicle. Sister Doreen pulled up to their house that morning and witnessed the family packing the truck with all their belongings. They gave no indications of distress. By the early morning of August 2nd, 1989, the Jack family was gone. 2 weeks went by. Then 3 weeks came and went. After Ronnie failed to make any contact by then, his mother reported the entire family missing in late August 1989. Police then proceeded to drive to the Jack family residence to see if anything had been disturbed or if they had left any clues behind, but they found nothing. The initial search by the RCMP was criticized by Ronnie's mother as not being thorough enough on account of the family's Indigenous heritage. Ludicrous. On September 7th, 1989, the RCMP falsely reported that they had found the entire family and closed the investigation. This, of course, was not the case, and the file was quickly reopened. The mysterious man who had allegedly offered the job has never been identified. The RCMP had also tried to find the work site the man had mentioned based on the description he gave Ronnie, but no evidence of such a work site was ever found. On Sunday, January 28, 1996, 7 years after the Jack family disappearance, an anonymous person called the RCMP detachment from the town of Vanderhoof, British Columbia. The caller said the following: "The Jack family are buried at the south end of Redacted Ranch," before they hung up. Police then issued a province-wide appeal for the caller to make contact again, but he never did. They then released an audio recording of the call after they realized the caller wasn't going to contact them, but that has not led to any breakthroughs in the case. The call was then traced to a house in Stony Creek, a First Nations reserve about 9 kilometers away from Vanderhoof, where a party was being held that night. Later, when the local Vanderhoof police went and investigated the house party, they advised that they were unable to locate all 10 partygoers that were present that night. Over the years, multiple theories have surfaced, including the possibility that the family fell victim to human trafficking, foul play, or an unknown criminal operation. The disappearance of children is always an incredible tragedy for the family involved, for their community, and for society. But the disappearance of an entire family at once is horrific. What possible motive could someone have to abduct an entire family? Despite the ongoing public interest and periodic investigative efforts, no additional evidence has been found to explain the family's fate. Confusingly, there seems to be both a lot of evidence in the Jack family case and none at all. An extremely thorough suspect description is available, which is exceedingly rare in missing persons cases, yet nothing came of the description in such a small, close-knit town. What other evidential details exist that might help solve the case? Due to the amount of time that has passed, many theories and speculations have been allowed to take root in the public consciousness about what really happened. It is so rare for a whole family to disappear, and in 35 years, for no one to find a shirt, a bone, a shoe, a suitcase, nothing. What theories seem most plausible in this case? Theory number 1, an accident. The possibility that the Jack family disappearance may have been the result of an accident was initially entertained by the RCMP. The area around Prince George turns into rough wilderness, with many twisting, remote logging roads and even some lakes and ponds. It was theorized that perhaps the vehicle swerved off the road into dense bush or even into a lake, and everyone drowned. Proponents against this theory, however, cite the extensive search that took place and found no evidence of a crash, like downed trees or skid marks. Also, if the person that was driving the truck when the family disappeared was also killed, no one matching his description was ever reported missing. Theory number 2, the camp job was a ruse to get the whole family. The possibility that the family was lured away under false pretenses raises concerns about human trafficking or organized crime. If the unknown man had malicious intentions, he could have taken advantage of the Jack family's financial vulnerability, exploiting their need for work to lead them into a dangerous situation. Was the entire family really the target? And the camp ruse was used to ensure all of them would come along. This theory seems possible in that if the man wanted to only lure away Ronnie, why would he have bothered to offer a job to Doreen and make sure he mentioned daycare for all the children as well? Theory number 3, the family was collateral damage and Ronnie was the real target. It's possible that somehow the man knew of Ronnie's financial situation and knew that if he couldn't take his family, perhaps he would not have agreed to willingly come. It's impossible to know what was said in the exact conversation exchanged between Ronnie and the suspect. Perhaps the man initially offered Ronnie a loan, but he refused, so the man made up additional details to get him to agree. Perhaps the man was looking to settle some outstanding debt with Ronnie and didn't want to be seen abducting him straight from the bar with so many witnesses. Theory number 4, payback. The family was noted as having an outstanding, undisclosed amount of debt at the time of their disappearance. Could this debt have served as a motive to kidnap the family? Additionally, did Ronnie suspect that he was in some kind of trouble all along? His last chilling statement to his mother, to come looking for him, could possibly indicate some awareness on his part that the man's offer was suspiciously perfect and had arrived just in time. Family Prince George is right in the middle of some of the most rugged wilderness in Canada. The forest stretches on for hundreds of kilometers in every direction, and there are literally thousands of small logging roads leading off the main highway near Prince George. Without a concrete lead to point the police in a specific direction, it isn't impossible that no trace of the family has ever been found. The Jack family's disappearance has become one of Canada's most well-known missing persons cases. The media has played a significant role in keeping the case in the public eye, but the coverage has been sporadic over the years. The Jack family's disappearance has been featured in many true crime documentaries, news articles, and online forums dedicated to unsolved mysteries. Their story is often cited in discussions about the systemic failures of the RCMP, and in addressing cases involving Indigenous people and their families. With the Jack family being of Indigenous descent, their case is part of a troubling pattern where disappearances are often ignored for inordinate periods of time. They are not taken seriously, or sometimes they are never properly investigated at all. Some have drawn comparisons between this case and other serious disappearances involving Indigenous individuals in Canada. The National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls emphasized that the entirety of some Indigenous families, not just women, can also become victims of unexplained disappearances. In the years since the Jack family disappearance, advocacy groups have pushed for greater public awareness around the issue and for greater government accountability in finding the missing. The case of the Jack family has influenced how Canadian law enforcement agencies handle missing persons cases. In more recent years, as the disappearances plaguing the Indigenous community have become increasingly more visible, law enforcement agencies have made efforts to address the shortcomings that have been evident in their dealings with the Indigenous community over the last several decades. They have sought to implement better procedures for tracking missing persons and improving coordination between jurisdictions. While these are steps in the right direction, much work remains. Despite the apparent lack of progress in this case, law enforcement agencies continue to say that they are committed to solving it. In August 2024, a vigil was held by the Jack family relatives and their supporters at the Strathcona Park in Prince George, just down the street from where the family disappeared. Doreen's sister urged anyone with information to come forward and reiterated how much she misses her family. Authorities are still seeking information on the disappearance of the Jack family. If you have any relevant details, you are encouraged to contact the Prince George RCMP at 250-561-3300. With all the coverage this case is getting, someone's memory will be jogged. Someone will realize they have been silent long enough, and someone will understand that they no longer need to keep that awful secret they've been keeping for decades. Only when one of these instances occur will justice be delivered to the Chilsetta Carrier Nation and the rest of the Jack family members. Thank you for watching. If you like this episode, we have many others on our page, and this podcast is also available on Spotify. Thank you, stay safe, and always watch your back.